Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for One Piece chapter 1036. When we last left our heroes, we saw that Sanji had beat Queen once and for all, with a little narrator saying Sanji versus Queen, winner Sanji. So that fight is finally over. It was such a high point of the arc that I almost want to talk about it again, but I'm not going to. That we see Sanji gives the mouse back to the courtesan, who is sort of kind of the impetus for Queen's defeat, and flashes back to the mouse he fed back when he lived with Germa. Meanwhile, we cut back to the King Zoro fight, which has some cool action moments as Zoro sort of gets control over Enma again and learns to infuse his Conqueror's Haki with his blades. But also, we learn a good bit about King and Kaido, specifically that King was being experimented on at Punk Hazard, and Kaido saved him. And at the time, Kaido was talking about changing the whole world or something. It was very sort of revolutionary, and is very much not the Kaido we see today. So we'll see if there's any more info to see about that at some point. But it did seem like King was done for good at the end of that fight, with Zoro getting one final attack on him that seemed to end the battle, but the chapter ended before we could really say for sure. So with that being said, let's dive right on into chapter 1036. We have our color spread here, with all the Straw Hats, and I think some of them are like wearing numbers of like when they joined the crew. Like we see Zoro with 2, Usopp with 4, Jinbei has 10 on his sleeve, though it's not a universal thing. I think it's only those 3 who have that. Either way, it's cute. This got this whole sort of Winter Wonderland vibe going. But also, it might be a village that's been flooded and then frozen, it maybe looks like. I'm not sure. It's a really interesting image. But anyway, let's dive right on in. We open where we left off with King taking the brunt of Zoro's attack. We see he's lost like half of a wing, and his sword is shattered, which makes it seem like he's down for the count. Chapter 1036, Bushido is the way of death. Though, given that Zoro is sort of tied up with the concept of Bushido, maybe things are about to end very badly for Zoro? Possibly? I don't know. I mean, I can't really see Zoro dying, but still. Anyway, we see Zoro, like, in the follow-through of that attack. He's just also just really exhausted. He's been through a lot the past half hour. And Kaido thinks, Kaido. And then he flashes back to Kaido asking him, are you still under that belief, King? You think I'm Joy Boy? Is the world I'm creating really the one you wished for? Whoa. Okay, so that's an interesting thing. Because, you know, in the aftermath of last chapter, and going back to Kaido's now kind of infamous, seems like you could not be Joy Boy either to Luffy after Luffy fell. You know, there was a lot of discussion around what exactly happened to Kaido, and it seems like at this point, you know, like one of the ideas was that Kaido at one point thought he would become the next Joy Boy, and then something changed and he sort of lost that view of himself. And we see that by this point already, he has, if he ever had that view of himself, has lost it. But also there's still that interesting question, is the world I'm creating really the one you wished for? Like he's almost taunting King. Like Kaido has changed maybe from that revolutionary figure that he sort of saw himself to the despot he became. And he's almost mocking King for sticking with him. But King counters, legends are legends, that is all. No, I seek nothing from you anymore. My life belongs to you. Just continue to be the strongest there is. And I won't lose any fight either. I'll make you the king of the pirates. So we see, even if Kaido has changed, King has sort of accepted that, and he's going to follow Kaido to the end. But that I won't lose any fight either, has sort of been proven wrong as he's taking Zoro's hit. And Zoro flashes back, way back when, to that fight with Mihawk on the Baradier. From now to the day I beat him to become the greatest swordsman, I will never lose again. Got a problem with that, king of the pirates? And we see Luffy's old laugh. Hee hee hee. Not at all. And then I think maybe that attack took both King and Zoro too far off the edge of Onigashima. And now they're both falling. Guess I might as well become the King of Hell. Okay. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But also, isn't Enma a King of Hell in Japanese mythology? Am I misremembering that? Let me see if I can find the trivia on the wiki page. Yeah, Enma is the King of Hell in Japanese Buddhist myth, the judge of dead souls. He is the Japanese version of Yama, the King of Hell, found in sects of Buddhism across East Asia. Enma, blah, blah, blah. The point is, his sword is named after the King of Hell, which, given Enma's role in this fight, is almost certainly important. But anyway, so Zoro takes the two swords in his hands and swings them at the air. I think creating some sort of air pressure something to blast him back up to the island. He knocks off of air. Have we ever seen him do that before? Anyway, battle outside the dome, right brain tower, winner, Zoro. So yes, King and Queen have both fallen. At this point, I think the only enemies are Kaido, Big Mom, and Kazenbo. It really does feel like we are nearing the end of Wano, which honestly, it's time for Wano to end, I think. I've said before, there are many times throughout Onigashima in particular, that it really does feel like Wano's dragging. It has enough absurdly high highs to make up for those kind of draggy moments. But it does have them, and I'm happy to... I would much rather see Onigashima end gloriously than have it drag on another year. So yeah, I think we are kind of nearing the end. I think we will have a Kaido flashback before Luffy beats him. But beyond that, I think it's just, Yamato fighting the Kizenbo spirit and saving the armory or whatever. Kid and Law's continuing fight with Big Mom. And then Luffy versus Kaido to kind of end the arc. But anyway, winner is Zoro. And then we see one of the Bao Huangs, or one of the Marys. I forget which is Bao Huang and which is Mary. Let me see if I can do a quick search, so I always get those confused. Okay, so Bao Huang is the ringleader. So one of the Marys, the sort of harpy-looking Mary, is watching the battle, sees Zoro land back on the island, and reports back to Bao Huang. And Bao Huang tells the masked CP0 member, who I guess did not go chase after Robin and Brooke, King has just been defeated. And the CP0 guy this is specifically like the sort of, I think they were both wearing masks actually, right? The CP0 guys. This is specifically the really giant lanky one who reacts, really? So the lead performers and Tobi Roppo are all down. This is a grave state of affairs. But of course, there are still two monsters in this battle who can render all of this valiant effort futile. And then with that, we cut back to Big Mom, who is raging even more against Kid and Law. So when we last left, I don't remember what exactly was going on when we last left Big Mom, because they did the big attack, and then, then she ate part of her own soul, gave up some of her lifespan to power up, to beat Kid and Law, and that's where we last left her. But yeah, I want to take a moment to focus on CP0 guy's word choices. Because in saying the lead performers and Tobi Roppo are all down, he refers to that as a grave state of affairs. Like, CP0 wants Luffy to lose. Which, if they've been back here brokering some alliance with Kaido, that does make sense. But he then says, there are still two monsters in this battle who can render all of this valiant effort futile. Referring to the battle as valiant implies that he's sort of supportive of the alliance, which, like, maybe he's just being mocking, but I don't know. I'm still kind of curious what is CP0's preferred outcome, because we know they have a counter plan if Luffy wins. Bring in a whole damn Buster Call, and the alliance will be so exhausted after taking down 2 Yonko they'll just kind of fall over. And then maybe that is CP0's best outcome. With them down, they can just sort of move in to take over Wano. Wano has been in isolation so long, and they want to finally bring Wano to heel. I don't know. I think this is the narrator, not CP0 guy, saying, "There is another battle being waged here, however. If Luffy defeats Kaido, his flame cloud will disappear, causing Onigashima to fall upon the capital and explode from its store of gunpowder. So now we're going to be reminded about Kizenbo. It would mean the deaths of tens of thousands of innocent people. And we cut back to Momo, who's still trying to make his own flame clouds to counter Kaido's. I will not let you go there, as they enjoy the fire festival, unaware of the danger nearby. Also, a second menace, the burning spirit of Kanjuro's hatred on Orochi's orders. And we see Kizenbo making his way down towards the armory with Yamato in hot pursuit, seeks to explode Onigashima in midair, and heads downward, with Yamato in pursuit. And yeah, we see Kizenbo just sort of burning through the ground as Yamato runs downstairs. And he makes it to the doors of the basement armory guarded by a number named Roki. There you are! Roki's guarding the doors to the basement! And then, so Yamato tells his number partner, Fuga, we don't have time to beat him, take the key, and operate the lever that opens and closes the door. Do it the quick way, Fuga! Fuga! And Fuga just bum rushes Roki. Also, is Fuga a centaur? I never noticed that, but he seems to have like a centaur lower half. Just like gets Roki between his two horns. Roki! And, you know, as Roki sort of stares in shock, the force of him and Fuga knock the basement doors open, and Yamato runs in. Yes! And he calls back, thanks, Fuga! Keep Roki down for me! And Fuga just nods, Fuga! And Roki's just so confused. Rokiki? And then we come to inside the castle, second floor and first floor crawl space, which, when we last left this scene, was Kinemon's legs fetching, Usopp and Speed, and I think Hamlet, or maybe just Usopp and Hamlet, to go and save Kiku. Okay, so inside the castle, second floor and first floor crawl space, Usopp, for some reason, he attacks someone. Skull blast grass! And we see the sort of, blast of smoke that comes from the grass, I guess. I'm not quite sure how that attack works. But it looks like maybe some beast pirates have found the crawl space and are on the attack. Don't fall back! Capture the Akazaya samurai and the Straw Hat! And Usopp is, of course, just panicking. I can't do this anymore! I'm gonna die! There's nothing but flames and foes in every direction! And the beast pirates all spot him. That guy's worth 200 million! And Kinemon calls out to Usopp. Kinemon and Kiku are both just on the floor. So, Sir Usopp, leave me. Take Kiku. And Kiku counters, no, Master Kin. I am done for. And Usopp just says, cool, I'll leave you both and save my own skin. Usopp, no! Usopp, don't do that. And he realizes how stupid he's being. Wait, then why did I even show up? What is with you, samurai, and your death wishes? And Kinemon and Kiku are sort of silent at that. And Usopp, as he's shooting at beast pirates left and right, what use is your pride? Taking responsibility through harakiri. I'm not a fan of this culture of yours. I cling to life with snot running from my nose if I have to. I don't care if it looks pathetic. I survive. It's what I do. And it's the entire reason I'm standing here alive today. So I'm kind of curious, are we supposed to take this as a genuine, Oda as the author using Usopp to sort of counter the ideals of samurai culture? Or are we supposed to kind of be laughing at Usopp? I'm not quite sure. Usopp is a character I have a lot of conflicting feelings for, given his whole vibe. Tends to lead him, at times, just be kind of a selfish asshole, I feel. Though a very understandably selfish asshole, given that he's much weaker than some of his crew members, of course. But Kiku and Kinemon both sort of respond, with Kinemon just muttering out, Sir Usopp. And Usopp tells them, why are you idiots so satisfied with just pulling off your raid? Okay, and then, so the beast pirates are now closing in on Usopp, who's finally panicking. Gah! I can't do this! And someone jumps in from above. He's right, of course. I think that's Jinbei. My money's telling me that's Jinbei. Get down! No, I think it's someone else who uses guns. I can't think of who that is. And Usopp sort of ducks as this mysterious figure just starts shooting at all the beast pirates. Gah! Oh, it's Izo! Duh! I don't know why, but like he looked a lot bulkier in that earlier panel. So I thought, and like with the black hair, I thought it was Jinbei. I was a little worried it might be Ashiramaru, who should be kind of at least unconscious and not fully dead after taking the explosion earlier. But the hair looked more like Jinbei. I don't know why he looked so bulky in that earlier panel, but it is Izo. And the Beast Pirates are all sort of shocked, who I don't think know Izo's relation to Kiku, or that Izo is from Wano. Those clothes should sort of make that clear. Hey, the Beast Pirates all react. What's he doing here? The former Whitebeard Pirates division leader? It's Izo. I saw Marco on the performance floor, too. What's going on? And Usopp, of course, has never met the Whitebeards, which, you know, I like the fact that Usopp just does not know this guy. Ah! Who's that? Thanks, though. Good on Usopp still being grateful. But Kinemon tells him, Izo. And Izo goes to pick up Kiku. Brother, I fear... And Izo stops her. Don't speak. It will only hurt you. We'll have plenty of time to talk later. And Izo, like, takes off the top part of his robes, revealing the or is that the Kozuki clan tattoo on his back? Focus on your survival. If you truly believe in Straw Hat Luffy, that is. And then he just starts shooting. Take them to safety, God Usopp. Oh, he's read Usopp's wanted paper, and so calls him God Usopp. What? And Usopp just reacts, what? You know who I am? And then it's just, oh, sort of taken aback by the fame. And then he calls, help me out, Hamlet. Let's go. And Hamlet, so Usopp grabs Kinemon, and Hamlet grabs Kiku, and the two of them just run. You got it. And then we cut to the third floor, where Raizo is actually still fighting Fukurokuju, which I kind of completely forgotten about. As Fukurokuju calls, undo this paralysis jutsu, Raizo. I have you defeated. And Raizo, we see they're both been fighting for a while. They've seemingly paralyzed each other, because Raizo responds, you undo yours first. And Fukurokuju tells him, fine, do as you wish. But unfortunately for you, the flames have reached you first. My paralysis will fade as soon as you are dead. So I'm really unclear exactly what exactly jutsu is here. Because it's not, you know, it's not, there's not like a chakra thing like Naruto that could be causing paralysis. Like, are they using some form of haki? Like maybe a very low level conquer? I can't see Raizo or Fukurokuju having conqueror's haki though. Like it seems like all they're doing is doing this kind of pose at each other. And I'm not sure how exactly in universe that connects to paralysis. Anyway, Raizo presses on. I'm a vassal of Lord Odin. You call this heat? I don't even feel it. And that shocks, I think Raizo's conviction kind of shocks Fukurokuju. And then we come to the treasure repository on the second floor, where Orochi and Hiyori are. And Orochi thinks, is this a dream or waking life? And he thinks, not really stressed because he's so sort of swayed by Hiyori. What's taking so long, Fukurokuju? You must escape before this island blows up. And Hiyori asks him, is something the matter, my lord? Oh, it's nothing. I'm not sure if that's sort of, you know, he's not telling Komurasaki what's about to happen to the island, or if he's so swayed by her that he's not even really trying. He's like sort of lost the energy to really give a damn or something. Anyway, Orochi tells her, I know Komurasaki. Play that song for me. The one I love. Of course. And then we come to the second basement floor, back with Apoo and this number Inbi, where again, last we saw Apoo, he was running from the CP0 guy who was after Broken Robin. He'd taken the picture of him, and now he was kind of on CP0's shit list. Anyway, we gotta skedaddle, Inbi. And Inbi tells him, EBBB. Those guys are bad news. And then we see Apoo calls back, sorry, Zanki. So long, Drake. So all that talk of Drake and Apoo forming an alliance to fight CP0 went instantly out the window. Zanki looks kind of beat up and dead. He falls over. He looks pretty damn dead. And also Drake looks full of holes. I don't think Drake is really dead, but he doesn't look like he's doing too hot at the very least. And the unmasked CP0 guy says, That took longer than I expected. He was tough. And the guy's sort of holding a mask over his face. Apoo got away. And then there's some kind of ringing noise I think comes out of his mask. And yeah, it's like a in-mask Den Mushi who asks them, have you caught Nico Robin? Not yet. We were interrupted. Then I'm guessing this is the guy back with Bao Huang. Well, hurry. We should leave this castle. You mean the lead performers are down. And we see sort of some of the various effects of the recent battles. Sanji, who's seemingly kind of unconscious, being taken care of by Some the courtesan. Killer, whose mask is sort of cracked after his fight with Hawkins. Beppo, who's just fucking raring to go. Mob boy Beppo. And Zoro's also passed out. If the new generation should actually win this battle, it would be massive news. The impact will fan the flames of the incidents occurring all over the world as we speak. What happens over the next several minutes will set the course for the times to come. Okay. And then we see Law and Big Mom and Kid. So here CP0 is talking about, the impact will fan the flames of the incidents occurring all over the world as we speak. And we don't really have a lot of context for those. We vaguely know about, we know something big happened at the Reverie and Sabo got captured. I think, did they announce that he was dead but might be lying, or they announced that he was captured? I forget which exactly it was. But we don't know a whole lot else about what other incidents are going on in the world. Also, furthering the idea that Wano is really wrapping up, the idea that everything will be decided in the next several minutes is really a good way of showing this is kind of the end of Wano. Though, I'm remembering Alabasta's absurdly long 5-minute countdown that went on for 20 chapters or something. I'm slightly exaggerating, but you know what I mean. So maybe, maybe we'll still have a very long way to go, especially with both the Big Mom and the Kaido fight, and Yamato and Kazenbo, and maybe we'll get Raizo and Fukurokuju, though I kind of doubt it. As this chapter is shown, even as Wano is starting to wrap up, there's still just a whole lot going on. Anyway, the CP0 guys who are here respond, that's true, but don't you think they've already hit the limit of what human beings can achieve? Well, then we cut to the roof of the Skull Dome to prove all that wrong, as Luffy is continuing to fight Kaido. Gom Gom! And I think that's Conqueror's Haki infusing his fist. And he shoots his fist out at Kaido, I think, but Kaido slams it back with his club. And then Luffy goes to jumps toward Kaido again, this time with Conqueror's Haki infusing his feet, I think. Gom Gom! But he still can't get out that attack name as Kaido blocks him again and then whacks him upside the head with his club. But then Luffy finally gets the attack in. Rock Gun! And so there's something interesting about the way that attack is drawn. Because Luffy's fist doesn't look connected to his body. Maybe it is, but it doesn't quite look it. But he does get a firm, hard, Conqueror's Haki-infused hit on Kaido, and Kaido goes down. He's on his back. He looks up at Luffy. He's still active, he's breathing heavy, but he's still laughing. Whoa, row, row, row. And they both pick themselves back up. Luffy laughs. I'm having fun now. And Kaido responds, so am I. To be continued. Okay, and we're off next week, because of course we fucking are. But yeah, there's just so much going on here. Again, this is very much an overview chapter. I've talked in the past about the overview and the focus chapters. And this is really, the lead performers are down, the Tobi Roppo are down, the fight's wrapping up, we're moving into a new phase of the raid. Let's take a look at everything. Let's see everything that's going on. We get one last bit of King and Zoro, but any more revelations about Kaido's past will not come through King, they will come through Kaido. King is also maybe dead. He's kind of unconscious and falling from that high cliff. I'm not sure he's going to survive that one. But anyway, then it's time to sort of cut through and see everything else going on. We get glimpses of the fight with Big Mom, Yamato on his way to go fight Kazenbo, who he's spent a good bit of time with, as Fuga takes out Roki the guard. Again, I don't really care about the numbers, they're just sort of there. But there's still some fun stuff to be had here, I suppose. As Fuga, I never realized was a centaur, but just, bum rushes Roki, knocking him out as Yamato goes on to continue that fight. So again, we only really get those 2 pages of Yamato just to check in, see where he is, see where that whole storyline is starting to head. We then see some more with Usopp and the samurai and Izo, who arrives to save his sister and his old friend. And also, we see a little bit of just like Usopp is kind of becoming famous. I feel like we always sort of knew that, but it's nice to have that really laid out. Like, Usopp is known by a Whitebeard commander who calls him God Usopp in particular. Like, Usopp's kind of famous post Dressrosa. And it's sometimes easy, I think, to forget that. Then we see a little bit of Raizo and Fukurokuju, but nothing really happens there. Similar with the stuff with Orochi and Hiyori. It's just sort of a reminder, hey, they're still doing their thing. Apoo is running away. Drake's been beat up. But again, not a whole lot to really say about that beyond Drake being knocked out. And I'm sure the anime will go into more detail on that because that's what the anime does. And then, again, we have that great line from the CP0 guy about just how much is happening around the world that will be impacted by the outcome of this fight. And we really just we don't know that much about what's been going on around the world since Wano started. Again, we saw a little bit of the Reverie and its aftermath and the dissolution of the Shichibukai system, but that was 80 chapters ago. And sure, that 80 chapters ago is maybe a week tops in universe, if even. But also, it's still sort of I'm sure a bunch of stuff has been happening. Actually, hold on, is it? I'm trying to remember exactly how long it's been since those quick little cutaway chapters between the acts. Because if that was between Act 2 and Act 3, this is actually the same day, I think. Because after those 2 chapters where we check in on the rest of the world, we have the Odin flashback, which then cuts straight to the raid. So I think it's all the same. I think it's been the same day for 70 or 80 chapters now. Which is getting to end of Naruto levels of in-universe time. But anyway, my point is, stuff is happening all over the world that we just don't fucking know about. And I'm assuming it is somewhat revolutionary, given the fact that these young whippersnappers overpassing the sort of storied leaders of the previous generation is going to only make things more extreme. I'm assuming just old systems are being toppled around the world. And that's and this fight might end up being, a symbol for all these, not just the Revolutionary Army, but other groups fighting their government or oppressive forces in general or something. All the things the world government does not want to happen. Anyway, then we check back in on Kaido and Luffy, and Kaido does get a good hit in, but they're both kind of bloodied up, Luffy and Kaido, but they are raring to go. And I am guessing next chapter, I don't think we're it's time for our final set of chapters focusing on Luffy versus Kaido, but I do think the next couple of chapters or so will be Luffy-Kaido focused. Then maybe we'll go down to Big Mom or Kazenbo or any of the various other stuff going on. But I do think it's time to focus back in on Luffy and Kaido. And I can't wait to see it. Again, Wano is really good, even if it's kind of long and a little dragged out. There's just always so much good shit going on. And, you love to see it. So I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe. Do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!